It's autumn time. I'm very excited. I don't normally get excited for autumn particularly, but this summer's been warm and I am built for colder weather. I don't usually like sort my TBR out according to the seasons and whatnot, but I, like a lot of you, consume YouTube content and watching all these people do their like autumn videos, TBRs and stuff like that, it just got me to thinking that maybe I should start planning what I read according to the seasons. The seasons play a big part in my mental health. I tend to find that physically I struggle in summer because I'm a chunky guy and I get warm and sweaty. But mentally, summer's really good for me because you've got loads of sun, vitamin D. It's just feel good vibes, isn't it? And as it starts to get like darker mornings, darker nights, it does affect me mentally. So I'm trying my best to plan accordingly so that this autumn I can go into it positively, think positive, and try and plan my TBR around my mental health. Because as you know, I'm a big advocate for mental health. When I got diagnosed with depression in 2023, it was around autumn time. And I just can't help but have anxiety when that time of the year comes. I start to panic, I start to worry. I spent basically all of autumn 2023 stuck in the house. I didn't leave the house at all, to the point where when I did leave the house, I'd just get really upset and emotional, start crying, and then my wife would be like, come on, let's go home. I'm not in that place anymore, thankfully, but I also don't want to get in that place. So I'm setting up autumn in the most positive way possible. As I said, we're going in with positive vibes, positive like mindset, and hopefully by planning accordingly, it's going to mean that I can get through 2025 autumn without getting into just a depressive state. I just don't want to get there again. And hopefully I might be able to give you lots of encouragement to just try and plan your own like reading journey to match your own kind of needs. So when I think about autumn, I think like darker mornings, dew on grass when you look out your windows, people walking the dogs, conkers falling on floor, family walks, dogs, and more dogs. I love autumn, and I want to try and kind of transfer my mental thoughts of autumn into my book. So when I think about books that I want to read this autumn, and again, this is something I've never done before. So I sat down this morning, I thought to myself, right, so if that's what you think when you think of autumn, what kind of books could you associate with that mood? So I thought to myself, firstly, back to school vibes, because autumn is when kids go back to school. Love my kids to bits, but I am ready for a bit of freedom. I think like eerie settings. I think horror books, and I've not read many horror books, but I just feel like autumn leads into that kind of spooky season. I think of not necessarily like dark and depressive books, but I think just mysterious, eerie, and cozy as well. So that's what I'm trying to incorporate. I've got loads of books here, too many books to count, probably about 20 books that I want to talk to you about in this video. And these are books that I'm going to prioritize for autumn. We'll just have a chinwag about why I want to prioritize them, and hopefully it might give you lots of encouragement to maybe add some of these to your TBR. If you have got any plans for autumn, books that you want to read and stuff, I'd be interested to know what it is you plan on reading, because I might add to my TBR. Now, there are some books that I really, really want to read this autumn that I don't physically own. However, I'm on a book buying ban because I've got more books than bookshelf space. So if there are any books that I really want to read this autumn, I'm just going to go to my library and pick them up from there. I've told myself from now, for the foreseeable future at least, that I'm not going to buy any more physical books. The only books I am going to buy are hard covers of books that I have truly cherished, that I know I'm going to keep forever. And I'll replace the paperback version and just send that to charity or whatever. So if you're new to this channel, thank you for watching. My name's Tyrone. I'm just a book-loving dude who likes talking about books and mental health. Buckle up, grab a cuppa. I've already had mine, so I can't share it with you today. But hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you do so, please don't forget to give the video a like. So in no particular order, because as you know, if you've been on this channel long enough, I am the least organised person on YouTube. I've just set them all up. I literally just looked at my shelves and I was like, yeah, I want to read that in autumn. I want to read that. That's autumny. That's autumny. And I just put them all in loads of piles and stuff. So we're just going to kind of blag it together. So the first book I've got in front of me is Raymond E. Feist's Magician. I believe that this one is the chunky one. So it's like nearly 800 pages. I think this is book 1 and book 2. So someone told me that the Magician by Raymond E. Feist starts off with The Magician's Apprentice and then The Magician, but I think this is both of them in one. Raymond E. Feist is an author that I've been desperate to try, and the reason that this just feels autumny to me, autumnal, is autumnal a word? I think it is that, so the idea, the thought behind the words magician apprentice seems to me like there's going to be some dude who is like a youngling who goes to this magician who teaches him how to be a magician. And as I said, back to school vibes. So that is the only reason I picked this up. On top of that, though, my brother-in-law did. We went to a family gathering the other day, and he was talking to me about this and said that it's one of the best books, not books he's ever read, but one of the best authors he's ever read in fantasy, and highly recommended the second trilogy in this world, which is co-written by Raymond E. Feist and Johnny Wirtz. Don't know what it's called, but he has got the books at home, and he said once I've read this, if I enjoy it, he's going to lend me the next trilogy, because I think that they're all set similar to like the Realm of the Elderlings. It's all set in one huge world, and the stories are on different parts of the continent and stuff, so that's exciting. He told me that this is more traditional fantasy, but the other one, the one with Johnny Wirtz, is like, I don't know if it's set out China, I don't know what you call that, like Asian-inspired fantasy. So that's exciting, because I've not really read much of that anyway. So buzzing to try and read this. Again, this just screams autumn to me, because dark colours and stuff in it. I know autumn's red and oranges and yellows and stuff, but that's my logic, and it's my decision, so you can't tell me otherwise. Next up, this one definitely screams autumn, is Empire of the Vampire by J. Kristoff. I'm not going to touch on this too much. I told you in my last video that I want to do a reread of this book and Empire of the Damned in preparation for the third and final book in this trilogy, which is coming out in November, I think. So super keen to read this. I know I'm going to love it. And this, for me, when I think autumn, especially when it comes to fantasy, when I think autumn, this, I mean, even that cover, the cover just screams autumn. I know you can't see properly because it's sun, but yeah, props to whoever did this cover as well. Love the cover design. It's always so... Oh, cover illustration by Kirby Rosanes. Absolutely love the cover art on this. Slay all day, Bay. It's fantastic. Stephen King, 11/22/63. Why does this give autumn vibes? Don't know. This is more... for me, for my mental health. So I have, within all these books, I've put a few that I feel like are going to be a bit easier for me to read, and some that will hopefully make me a bit happy, because as I've said, autumn's not always the easiest season for me, so I am trying to put some books within here that I think might just give me a pick-me-up. And I'm not going to say that I'm expecting this book to be completely happy, because Stephen King, I've not read a book of his yet that makes me happy, but someone said to me that there's a really nice love story within this. So this is a story about a dude who finds a portal in the back of a diner, and this portal leads back to, I think, 1963, or just before 1963, when the assassination of JFK happened. I think it's like 5 years before the assassination of JFK, whenever that is. My history knowledge on this topic is pants. But whenever JFK died, 5 years before that, this portal sends you to there, and then this dude called Jake is tasked with stopping the assassination of JFK, but en route he falls in love. There's all sorts of like historical context to it, so it's borderline historical fiction slash, I don't know what else you'd call it, when they can time travel. Is that sci-fi? I don't know. But there's also romance and stuff, so I just feel like this book's going to be different, and it's probably going to be the kind of book that I'll be able to read between some of the darker books here, which makes no sense, because I've told you that I struggle with my mental health, and I'm also reading some dark books this autumn. But that's just what I read. That's my chosen genre at the minute: dark, depraved, horrible, sad books. And you wonder why I'm like mentally unwell. So I'm excited to read this. One of my concerns with Stephen King, as I always say, is this book's a thick one. It could do with a shot of a Zempic. It's like 730 pages. You already know that I think Stephen King can waffle. I'm just hoping that this isn't another one of his books where a 700-page book could have been 400 pages. We'll see. I am excited to read it. I just haven't found a Stephen King book yet that I truly love. Don't fully understand the hype. I do think he's a bit overrated, but we're still trying. The Witcher. I am really excited to read this. This, for me, screams autumn again. I watched on Netflix the other day a trailer for this series, and I was like, how have I never seen that? That looks phenomenal. And I just haven't. I think it's because at night time, I've got two choices: watch TV or read a book. Usually, if I put TV on, I fall asleep after half an hour. So I just tend to pick up a book. This is a series that I might consider watching. One of the reasons I'm actually excited about reading this is because I believe it is set in Poland. I know the author is Polish. I don't know if the actual series is set in Poland and whether it incorporates like Polish folklore or Polish history, but I am excited to find that out. I am intrigued to see as well how this is written, because I believe it was originally written in Polish and then translated into English. So I'm always reluctant when they are translated, because sometimes the translations are just absolute garbage. So we'll see how that is. What does really frustrate me about this cover, I mean, I hate this cover anyway because it's just looks like a copy and paste of the Netflix series, but this stupid sticker that's not a sticker. Whoever puts these on books needs banning from the publishing industry. Stupid. Right, I am going to read these. These don't even feel remotely autumnal to me, but I started reading The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter 2 days ago. 3 days ago maybe. I'm buddy reading it with Macaulay. And I'm currently on page 424. This is the best fantasy book I've ever read in my entire life. Phenomenal. And if I was going to recommend that you read any fantasy book in the whole wide world, it'd be this one. It is remarkable, perfect, magnificent, marvellous, beautiful, wicked, class, all of them, all the positive words. It is fast-paced, it's got vengeance, it's got dragons, it's got a unique magic system where women are the only people on this planet that can use magic, and the only way that men can become stronger is if women yield some of their magic to the men temporarily so they can go out and battle, and then once they have done the battling, the women basically take the magic back off them and men are weaker again. Now, don't get me wrong, there are still strong men within society. It's not just a case of someone trying to switch the mold just to try and empower women to kind of get some sort of clickbaity book. That isn't it. It is just, it's very, very different, very unique. There's a class tier system where the people at the bottom of society are just weak and they are almost used as cannon fodder within this world. And then the higher social standing you get, the more useful you are to the people at the top. But the people at the top are obviously just kind of using everyone under them for their own gain and for battles and for political gain and for land gain. It's just remarkable. The battle scenes are absolutely class because the author himself is like a black belt in jiu-jitsu or something like that, so he just writes it into his battle scenes fantastically well. There's a lot of gore in it, there's twists and turns, there's romance, there's a little bit of spice as well. I read a spy scene yesterday and I was just like, that made me a bit horny, you know. Go on, lad. Maybe it's because it was spice written by a man, which a lot of men don't tend to write sex scenes into the books, or at least that I've come across. I've only really come across Evan Winter, Jay Kristoff and Joe Abercrombie, who've written sex scenes in fantasy books, and it just so happened for me they all worked quite well. Although there is a weird scene in Empire of the Vampire when the vampire bites the vagine, if you know what I mean. That's a bit, yeah, that was a bit like, ooh, no, I'm not interested in that, Jay Kristoff. Yeah, I think Jay Kristoff out the three of them was the weakest of the sex scenes, a little bit depraved, but they are involving vampires, and vampires are a bit sick in head, aren't they? So, but anyway, I digress. This book is phenomenal, which means that I need to add book 2 to my autumn TBR, and that's called The Fires of Vengeance. And again, cover illustrations, love them. Very different. I don't know who does the illustrations for these ones. Cover design by Lauren Payne Pinto. She's done both of them. So yeah, go on, Loz. Well done, mate. Love them. Favourite book of 2025 by far. So if you're going to read any book that I tell you to read, Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. Next up, I think we've got some horrors, because you've got to read horrors in autumn, I guess. Or at least I want to read horrors in autumn. You do what you want. The Reformatory by Tanner Tananarive. I don't know how you say that first name, and I'm not editing it out, so this is only getting read because I've seen too many content creators who I respect tell me that this book is one of the favourite books of 2025. I don't know how it's going to hit for me because I've not read much horror. The horrors that I have read so far were unremarkable. I read Pet Sematary by Stephen King, which is probably my favourite book of his. It was good, but it didn't blow me away. I'm not going to say like I lay in bed at night thinking about Pet Sematary, because I don't. And then I read a weird one called Hell House, which was about like weird perverted ghosts. That was very unremarkable. And I don't think I've really read any horror other than that. So I don't know if I love it yet. I definitely don't hate it, but I'm interested to see what this book's like, and just see what all fuss is about, really. Then When the Wolf Comes Home by Nat Cassidy, because I went to High Peak Bookstore a couple of months ago and this was there and it was like £2.99, so I picked it up. There's no other reason behind this book than that. And I think I've only got like 4 horror books on my shelf, so I picked this up because I thought, well, I might as well read it. It's only a short one. It's like 400 pages long, which is crazy to say that that's a short book, but I feel like 200 pages used to be normal for books, and now normal seems to be like 400 or 500 pages, which I don't mind. I suppose if I'm spending £10 on 400 pages, it's better value for money than spending £10 on 200 pages, isn't it? Yeah, bro logic. Next up, we've got 2 different-y reads. Different-y, that's not a word, but anyway, we go with it. Between Two Fires by Christopher Buehlman. I've got 2 of his books on my shelf. This one and the other one is called The Black Tongue Thief. That's it. I've not read any of them yet. I think both of them are horror/fantasy, and I haven't ever read horror/fantasy. At least I don't know that I have. You might correct me in comments and be like, Tyrone, you've read this book and that's horror/fantasy, in which case, soz not soz. But I'm excited to read this because I believe it also incorporates some sort of like historical fiction. So horror/fantasy/historical fiction. It's a book for everyone. So I'm excited to read that one. And the other one that is horror/fantasy is Grave Empire by Richard Swan. I think this is part of a trilogy. Oh, I forgot to tell you as well. The Rage of Empires, because you'd never forgive me if I didn't tell you this, if you do read The Rage of Empires, it is an incomplete series. So book 1 and 2 are out, but book 3 shows no sign of being released yet. I think it's due in 2026, but I wouldn't want you to read book 1 and 2 and then come back to me and be like, Tyrone, you didn't tell me it's not complete. I just want you to love me. My dad didn't love me. He left when I was a baby, so I have separation anxiety, and I don't want you to leave me because it hurts my heart. But book 1 is that good already. I'd put my house on it. I don't own my house, it's council, but we can make a deal between us and council. I'd put my house on it that if you enjoy fantasy, you will love that book so much that even if book 3 don't come out for like 10 months, you can just read book 1 and 2 again and still enjoy it. Anyway, Richard Swan. This cover is marvellous, like truly marvellous. I love it. It's got like, it's giving pirate vibes, and I don't think it's got anything to do with pirates, but there's like a skull at top and some, are they cannons? I think they are cannons. Maybe it is about pirates. Shall we see what it says inside? Dazzling and immersive epic fantasy, a stunning piece of modern fantasy by Richard Swan. A new age of exploration and innovation has dawned, and the Empire of the Wolf stands to take its place as the foremost power in the known world. Glory and riches await, but dark days are coming. A mysterious plague has broken out in the pagan kingdoms of the north, while in the south, the Empire's proxy war in the lands of the Wolfmen is weeks away from total collapse. I can't see anything about pirates here, but that screams pirates to me. I wanted to give a shout out to whoever did this illustration on this cover as well, because that is sexy as hell. But it doesn't say who did the illustration. So whoever did it, go on, lad or lass. Whoever did it, well done. Right, so that's most of the fantasy. I'm lying to you, there's more fantasy to come. But we've now got another pile which looks like it's all crime and thrillers, because when it gets a bit darker and stuff, I quite enjoy sitting in front of the fire, although our fire in the front room is a pretend fire. It's like one of them that you switch on at wall and it looks like a fire, but it's shit. But you don't have to put coal in it and clean it all out and stuff like that, which is nice. So I like to sit on my beanbag with fire on, reading a nice, easy crime thriller book. So I've got a few priorities here. Some series that I've started and some that I haven't, that just feel like books that I should probably read in autumn. So the first one is my first ever Agatha Christie, because I've never read Agatha Christie, that's it. But when I think autumn, I think Sherlock Holmes, I think Agatha Christie, and loads of people have said to me, if you're going to read any Agatha Christie book, And Then There Were None is the one. It's the one that a lot of other crime authors took inspiration from. You'll see similar kind of plot lines and stories, almost not copycats, but inspired by this book. So I think I'm probably going to read this in autumn, and it's only a short one as well. It's like 288 pages. I believe this follows a group of 10 people who go to this island mansion, and then one by one they all start getting sent to Jesus, and they've got to try and figure out who it is. So it seems like a massive game of Cluedo, and I enjoyed Cluedo when I was a kid. That was like our Christmas go-to game. That, a Game of Life, and Monopoly, but not Monopoly always causes arguments. But the game that causes arguments now in our house is frustration, because Dad's not letting anyone win, so my kids can't understand like why I constantly send them back to jail. It's not jail, but you've got to get a 6 to get out, haven't you? So it feels like jail. Next up is book 2 in Steve Kavanagh's Eddie Flynn series, The Plea. I read The Defence, which is book 1. That's a story that follows a lawyer who, I mean, it's not really a spoiler. Right at the start of the book, you find out anyway. His daughter gets kidnapped by the Russian mafia, and then they're like, dude, you've got to work for us or your daughter's going to Jesus. I think it was his daughter. Anyway, it's a while since I read it. That was really good, and it made me want to read book 2, which is The Plea, and my father-in-law, mother-in-law, and granddad-in-law, I don't know if that's what you'd call it, him, have all read it and said it's really good, so I borrowed it off them. Most of my book recommendations when it comes to family are all stolen from my wife's parents and grandparents, because they all love books, and my mum reads fluffy romance books and stuff that I'm not particularly that bothered about. M.W. Craven, The Botanist, I don't even know if that's how you pronounce it. I think this is the next book that I need to read in the Washington Post series. I read the first 4. The first 2 I absolutely loved. The next 2, I think, was called Dead Ground. There was one that I didn't really enjoy. I can't remember which one it was. The next 2 weren't as good for me anyway, and I'm told that this is where it gets back on track. The Botanist. Is that a real sticker? Oh, kill me now! It's not a real sticker again. Anyway, if you like crime books, police procedurals, the 2 characters that this story follows, Washington Poe and Tilly Bradshaw, are spectacular. Really good, quite short chapters, and it's set in the UK as well. So, underappreciated crime author there, Mike Craven. M.W. Craven. Read him. The Black Echo, which is book 1 in the Harry Bosch series. Really want to read that. Still not picked it up yet. I don't know why. It was only £3.99 from the High Peak Bookstore. If you've not visited High Peak Bookstore yet, you need to. Just go on Google, type in High Peak Bookstore. It's the best independent bookshop in the UK, voted by Tyrone. Harry Bosch. I watched the first few episodes of this, loved it, and then I thought, you know what, I'm going to read the series before I carry on. I'm going to read the... Oh, it's got another sticker on. Who's doing this? Who's making these decisions? Someone is sitting at Orion Books and they're looking at this and they're going, yeah, I like that. I actually really like that sticker. It's quite deceiving. It looks real, but it's not. And then someone goes, yeah, but what about if people don't want stickers on their books? I don't know. I feel like we should just ruffle a few feathers, Dawn. What do you think? Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's wind them up. Stupid idiots. Take your stickers off your books. Anyway, Harry Bosch, I'm excited to read that. Written in Blood by Chris Carter. This is the next book in the Robert Hunter series that I need to read. These are the best crime books ever written by anyone on planet Earth. Read them. They are really gruesome though, so if you're not into gruesome crime books, you won't like them. But that's more of a you problem. I love gore in crime books because I'm a bit mental. I am mentally unwell. I've told you this before. The darker the better when it comes to crime books. And these are short, punchy chapters, really, really gritty, minging murders, the most minging you can imagine. Faces getting peeled off, people getting burned in acid. I can't think of a worse death than that, but they're vile, like really vile, and you should read them all because they're spectacular. Read them in order as well. Book 1's The Crucifix Killer, and I think book 1, 2, and 3 might be on Kindle Unlimited at the minute, which is quite rare for Chris Carter's book, so grab them while you can. This isn't a crime book, but this is another book that I really fancy reading in autumn. The Prison Healer, because prison just seems eerie to me and dark and mysterious, and I think this is set in a prison. So you've got this main character called Kiva, who is a prison healer, and then the Queen turns up at the prison or something, and she's raped poorly, and Kiva's job is to make sure she don't die. And that's about all I know. But I've got the first 3 books on my shelf. They've been there for about a year and a half, so I've got to read them at some point. It just feels like autumn's the right time to read these books. What we got next? Oh, books with dragons in. Because Rage of Dragons, the book that I'm currently reading, is just making me so obsessed with dragons again that I thought I've got to read more dragon books. So these are the 4 choices. I might let you lot tell me which one you think I should read. So Eragon, shout out to Broken Binding for this copy. They didn't send it me. I actually won it in a competition. I don't do any ads on this page, so you might say like, oh Tyrone, why do you never have pretty books? It's because I don't want to receive free books from companies to have to come on and be like, hey guys, look how fantastic this book is, link in the bio. I don't want to do that. But I will absolutely enter competitions and win them for free, because this should have cost me £120. But anyway, shout out to Broken Binding for this sexy, absolutely gorgeous edition. I looked on the back and the front to see who did the cover art for this, but I think it is Broken Binding. I don't know if they use independent artists, but I couldn't find any. However, let's do a tour of the book. If you are considering going onto Broken Binding's website and purchasing this, then this is what it looks like. It comes with an additional set of sleeves, which is more like the original books, you know, in the like red, blue, green. The actual inside, the hardcover, has got sexy art on it as well. That's absolutely gorgeous. And then on the inside of the book, you also have more art, which is the young dude who I'm guessing bonds with some sort of dragon. So anyway, I've never read Eragon, still need to read it. I've got him. So that's the first of the dragon options. The next dragon option is The Dragon Rider by Taran Matharu. This was sent to me by a follower who said to me it's her favourite book of all time. So I should read it, and I've had it for about a year and I've not read it yet. But I think book 2 is out now in this, and I don't know how many books are due out. So I think that's probably the only thing that's put me off, is just that it's incomplete. This also looks like it's got some sort of dragon bonding storyline to it, which a lot of dragon stories have, haven't they? They all seem to copy the original like Bond with dragon storyline, but I don't mind that. I quite enjoy it. Next up, we have got Temeraire, which is book 1 in the Temeraire series by Naomi Novik. I can't remember who sent me this. I'm really, really sorry. I hope you comment, but the person that sent me this has messaged me so many times and they've been like, have you bloody read that book yet? No, I haven't. I'm really sorry. I think it's got like 10 books in the series, and that's the only thing that's put me off, because when you're creating content, I can't just sit and read a 10-book series, because the only people that are watching videos are the people that care about that series. Everyone else will nod off and they'll be like, Tyrone, boy bye, I'm going to speak to someone else who talks about multiple books I'm interested in. So that's got a dragon up front. Got to read it. And then the last dragon option is the OG, from what I'm told is the OG of dragon books, and that's Anne McCaffrey, Dragon Flight, which is part of the Dragon Riders of Pern series. So I've got book 1 of that as well. So they're the 4 dragon books. I'm only going to read one of them in autumn. So tell me which series you think I should start that's got dragons in, because I bloody love dragons. This one, I don't know why this gives autumn vibes. This is the Library of Mount Char by Scott Hawkins. But I saw the cover, which I love, by the way. The cover was done by... Cover based on a design by Christopher Brand, it says on back. It's not like the kind of covers that I normally like, but it just grabbed me. It was attention grabbing. And if you can look right up close, there's trees near that house and all leaves have fell off. So that's the only reason I thought it felt autumnal. And I don't know anything other than that there's no leaves on trees. It does say, a missing god, a library with secrets to the universe, a woman whose heart is slipping away. I don't know if it's horror. I don't know if it's historical fiction. I don't know what it is. So if you've read that, tell me. But I have seen a lot of people rave about it and say it's class. Now, the OG for me of autumn reads, the one that's right at the top of my autumn need to read list is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. So I'm going to read the whole series from start to finish before the end of the year. So this is my favourite series of all time. And I don't mean like how well it's written. I don't mean that it's the best book I've ever read of all time, but it's the book that means the most to me. It's the book that really, really made me find my love for reading. It's the first book that I can truly say that I escaped into and felt like I was part of a different world. I've never reread the series as an adult. I've read book 1 as an adult, read book 2 as an adult, and I got about a quarter of the way through book 3 as an adult, and then I was like, right, okay, I can't remember what happened. Something happened. Someone probably jumped in my inbox and was like, Tyrone, you need to read this book. So then I was like, okay, let me stop reading Prisoner of Azkaban and I'll come back to it. And I just never did. So that's my plan, is I want to reread the whole series again as an adult and just see how it differs from being a child. I know that the feeling's going to be the same, the nostalgia is going to be there, but I want to see maybe how blindly I am led by nostalgia when it comes to the actual writing and the characters. I don't think it is that. I truly think it is just a magnificent, magical world that has never been replicated since. I don't think any dark academia or academic setting book has ever done it as remarkably well as J.K. Rowling did the Harry Potter series. The main problem that I've got with this book is that the only copies that I have are the beautiful Jim Kay illustrated hard covers, which so far they've only gone up to book 5. I think book 6 might be due out this year, so I'll be adding book 6 to the collection at some point. But these aren't the kind of books you want to read. They're massive, they're heavy, they have got beautiful illustrations inside, like, oh, look at him there. Ugh, my dad. So I'm going to have to get my hands on some sort of paperback versions because I'm not reading these. Or I might read them on Kindle Unlimited, because I think they're also on Kindle Unlimited, aren't they? So I might just read them on there. But that is the priority from now till the end of the year, is to reread the Harry Potter series. If anyone's interested in that, then I might do some sort of separate series video just for the Harry Potter books, maybe where I do vlogs and talk through my feelings and just the nostalgia of that series. Bloody hell, that was just so spectacular, the things that did to me as a kid. So yeah, if you want me to record like reading vlogs for each book, then drop it in comments and I'll do it as a separate video, and I'll put it as a playlist so people can just like perv on all Harry Potter videos. What else we got? 2 others. As I said, there's a few books that I've added in here just to hopefully make me feel happy. So if I'm feeling sad, feeling a bit stressy, depressy, I can pick up books that are a bit lighter reading, something to make me go, and these 2 are hopefully going to do that for me. So the first one is Going Postal by Terry Pratchett. I was originally reading these books in chronological order, and then I just stopped reading them in chronological order, and I'm reading them in whatever order I want to, because I can, because it's my life, my choice. So this is the next one that I'm probably going to read, just because it's what I've got, it's on the shelf. The other 4 that I've read, I've really enjoyed. They weren't spectacular. They were his early works. The Light Fantastic, Colour of Magic, Mort. I can't remember what the other one was, but they are 3 of the first 4, and the other one was like out of sync. And Daniel Green actually said this was his favourite character in any Terry Pratchett book ever. Moist von Lipwig, the guy's name is, and I only picked it up because my wife has got a phobia of the word moist. She hates it, so I get my kids to say it all the time. I'm like, "Oi, babe, this cake is moist," and she's like, "Stop it!" So that's the main reason I picked it up, because Daniel Green said it was good, and because the character's called Moist, and I want to talk to my wife about the book. So I think that's going to make me happy, because Pratchett's just got that British humour. His books are just easy to read, and the world that he's created is just absolutely bonkers, and I'm here for it. And then the last one is The Murderbot Diaries by Martha Wells. I feel like this book is also just going to give feel-good vibes. I haven't seen the TV series. I know that there is one, but when I first mentioned this book, I said that I thought it was going to be quite dark, because it's about like almost like an android robot thing being enslaved, but people were like, it's not dark, it's actually really, really funny. So this is going to be another book that I'll put in between some of the other series, so I can read it and it can make me feel like all clappy happy, like, where you go, that's happy clappy. And I think that's it. I think we're about done. I have got other books that I want to read in autumn. I've recently been gifted James Clavell's Shogun. All my books are behind me here, as you can see, like all these piles of books here. These are just books that we don't have space for. I've got a little bag outside full of charity books. Books for charity that I just ain't got room for in here, but I have read them all. What else have I been sent recently? Janny Wirtz, I've got that season to go. Oh, there's just so many books, but what a fantastic problem to have. Happy autumn, everyone. I hope you have a fantastic start to September. Live your best life. Try and keep smiling, stay positive. And just pray for me while I try and figure out a way to reorganise all these books that I've just got off this shelf to show you. If you watched till this point, as always, I love you the most. I will see you in a bit.